Welcome to The Explainer. In network security, speed can make or break everything. Today we're tackling a really common bottleneck, network scanning. We're going to look at two key tools, Nmap and RustScan, and discover why the real story isn't about competition, but all about collaboration.
So, let's kick things off with a feeling I bet anyone in IT security or network management knows really, really well. You've targeted a massive network, you kick off a scan, and then you just wait. And you wait, and you wait some more. This lag, it's not just annoying. It can be a massive bottleneck in any serious security assessment.
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll start with the gold standard, Nmap. Then we'll talk about why we have this critical need for speed. After that, I'll introduce you to a specialist tool, RustScan. And then the fun part, seeing how they form a perfect pair. And we'll wrap it all up by talking about why, at the end of the day, a good strategy is always going to beat raw speed.
Okay, let's dive right in. We have to start with the undisputed veteran of network discovery, the tool that's been the foundation for decades, Nmap.
For years, if you wanted to figure out what was happening on a network, what devices are connected, what services are they running, Nmap was the answer. It's powerful, it's trusted, and it is incredibly thorough.
So what really sets Nmap apart is its incredible depth. It goes way beyond just finding open ports. It can tell you what operating system the target is running, and this is huge, it can pinpoint the exact version of the software running on a port. For any security pro, that level of detail is pure gold.
But that amazing thoroughness comes with a trade-off. And it's a trade-off that becomes painfully obvious when you're dealing with today's big, sprawling networks.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? Time is your most precious resource. Waiting for hours just to get your initial results back, that's not just an inconvenience. It can totally derail a security assessment or a critical incident response. So why does it take so long? Well, let's look at this number. A single IP address has 65,535 possible TCP ports. Nmap, by default, is designed to be methodical, to check thousands of them. Now, you multiply that by hundreds, maybe thousands of computers on a network, and yeah, you can see how the minutes just balloon into hours. This is where our specialist comes in, built to solve this exact problem. So, let's talk about RustScan, a modern tool with a laser focus.
Now, RustScan isn't trying to be the next Nmap. It's not trying to replicate all those deep features. Its entire reason for existing is just one thing: speed. Think of it like a scout that runs way out ahead of the main army, quickly surveys the whole landscape, and then reports back on only what's actually interesting.
I love this quote from the tool's creators because it says it all. RustScan isn't a competitor to Nmap, it's what we call a force multiplier. It does the one thing Nmap is kind of slow at, which is finding all the open doors so that Nmap can focus on what it does best, figuring out what's behind them.
And this right here brings us to the core strategy of modern network scanning. See, it's not about choosing one tool over the other. It's about making them work together in a really powerful way.
This table really lays out their synergy perfectly. Here's a good way to think about it. Nmap is your deep diving analyst, right? And RustScan is your high-speed recon agent. RustScan gives you that massive breadth across every single port in seconds, so Nmap can provide the depth on the handful of ports that actually matter.
So here's how it works in the real world. You point RustScan at your targets. In just a fraction of the time, it comes back with a clean, simple list of all the open ports. Then it automatically hands that list over to Nmap. So Nmap now has this very specific, targeted assignment instead of a massive, open-ended one. This simple workflow can literally cut scan times from hours down to just minutes. But look, having the fastest tools and the slickest workflow, that's only part of the story. The best pros out there know that tools are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. When we look at professional standards, like the guidance from OWASP, the emphasis is always on a structured, methodical process. It's about having a plan and executing it with discipline, not just running commands. This here is a pretty typical testing framework, and you can see that gather information. That's where our tools fit in. It's just one early step. The data we collect is crucial, for sure, but it's not the end goal. The real work is in building that complete picture, from the initial planning all the way to the final report.
So, here's the bottom line. Combining RustScan and Nmap gives you this incredibly efficient way to find all the open doors. But it's your strategy that tells you which of those doors are actually important, which ones might be unlocked, and what you should even be looking for on the other side.
And that leaves us with this final, critical question.
Speed gets you to the target faster than ever before, that's for sure. But it's the strategy, the context, and your expertise that ultimately deliver the valuable insights. The goal isn't just to scan fast, it's to understand deeply.